the Weather Xtreme video. This is the afternoon edition for Wednesday, the 20th of January. What an active weather pattern. A chance of severe storms tomorrow night, a chance of light snow Friday night, and a huge eastern U.S. snowstorm. So let's dive in there and talk about things. This is the current water vapor satellite imagery, and we're watching that comet-shaped cloud across the Great Plains. That's the energy that will be spinning up that big East Coast storm and produce the chance of strong, maybe severe storms in our state late tomorrow and tomorrow night. Now, the lead wave still producing some light rain over central Alabama. That's the radar at 220. Rain falling from near Linden to Selma, Prattville, Wetumpka, Alexander City, Lake Martin, and Roanoke. And still the chance of a little light rain in spots tonight, but probably not much. And man, it's cold. Look at Fort Payne. They're still at freezing at mid-afternoon, 32. A little icing up in the northeastern corner of the state today, but nothing too serious there. Gadsden barely above freezing. They got 34. Birmingham at 42. Temperatures will hold steady through much of the night tonight, and tomorrow we see a high well up in the 50s. Around the nation, cold air stays in place across the northern half of the United States, and that'll be pulled southward again where we are Friday. Now, here's a look at the various watches and warnings across the Deep South. There are no watches or warnings for any part of Alabama. To the west, a winter storm watch for much of North Mississippi and much of Tennessee, parts of eastern Arkansas, and then advisories northeast of the state for that little impulse we had this morning. But it looks like the weather services in Birmingham and Huntsville for now opting not to issue any type of advisory for the snow potential Friday night. And of course, we'll talk about that in detail. North and east, we have a blizzard watch for Washington, D.C. and Baltimore. How about that? And a bunch of winter weather advisories. And again, that's for that lead wave coming through parts of East Tennessee and the Carolinas. So let's talk about the severe weather threat. This is the risk for tomorrow and tomorrow night. We've got the slight risk all the way from near Lake Charles, Louisiana, over to Panama City and north. Here's a closer look at that in our state. The slight risk runs from near Tuscaloosa down to Luverne and Geneva. Areas south and west of that with the standard risk. A marginal risk as far north as Hamilton, Birmingham, Opelika, and Abbeville. And we'll discuss this as we go along here. This is the rain for the next 5 days, valid through Monday morning of next week. Amounts over 1 inch for many parts of the state. And again, it's going to be a good soaker tomorrow and tomorrow night with the main dynamics coming through here. All right, weather fans, here we go. The GFS, the 12Z run, valid tomorrow at noon. Strong energy diving down through Texas. Down below that, a surface low starts to crank up over the piney woods of East Texas. A warm front should be lifting northward through the state during the day, so some rain is likely at times. This is tomorrow night at midnight, the surface low near Columbus, Mississippi. And obviously, any severe weather should be along and south of that surface low track. This is the instability, the surface-based cape, tomorrow evening at 6 o'clock. And where you see the gray, that's under 1,000 joules. And understand, it doesn't take a lot for severe weather to happen here in the cold season. Instability values exceed 1,000 joules over parts of Mississippi, but you can see from about Tuscaloosa and Birmingham south down to Mobile and Destin. That's where there will be some instability. Helicity values extremely high, but the higher values a little away from that instability. But still, there is certainly sufficient veering of the wind with altitude for some sustained updrafts and a few severe storms. This is the significant tornado parameter tomorrow evening at 6 o'clock. Units are over 1, in fact, over 2 in spots over Mississippi from Jackson south. The amounts lower in our state. I think the main threat will be from straight-line winds and hail, although an isolated tornado cannot be ruled out. And I'd say the main window for severe storms about 4 p.m. tomorrow until midnight tomorrow night. So that's issue number 1. Now let's go to Friday. Here comes issue number 2. The surface low begins to move northeast of the state. And a pretty good snow band is going to be setting up over West Tennessee and North Mississippi at midday tomorrow. And some of that might try and creep over into extreme northwest Alabama. Florence, Russellville, Hamilton, maybe down to Vernon. The rain will be changing to snow in that part of the state during the day Friday. And this is Friday evening at 6 o'clock. Friday night at midnight. And the changeover is the snow pretty much statewide. Mostly light snow, the main dynamic support moving away. The idea here is that we're going to get some the chance of a little bit of accumulation, but I'm not so sure it's a high impact event. And again, now let's take a look at some of the accumulation data. First off, this is the vetted data from WPC, the Weather Prediction Center. This is a branch of NOAA. The 75 percentile look valid Saturday morning. And where you see the gray there, that big massive gray, that's under 1 inch. And probably a quarter inch is more like it around here. A little heavier amounts perhaps up to the north. But I think the European probably has it right. This is the snow through midday Saturday. And again, for most of North Alabama, the amounts would be under 1 inch. And the amount we're using for Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, Anniston, Gadsden, maybe a quarter inch. But notice it's printing out some 2 and 3 inch amounts for parts of Lamar, Marion, Franklin, Colbert, Lauderdale, Lawrence, and Limestone counties. And some really big numbers over North Mississippi and West Tennessee. That's 8 to 11 inches up there. And that's the reason they have a winter storm watch and we don't. So I think we'll mention rain changing to snow late Friday afternoon. Light snow Friday night. Accumulation could be light, around a quarter inch. The better chance of the heavier accumulations over northwest Alabama, and that would be maybe 2 inches or so. And high terrain spots in East Alabama could see an inch or two, like Chehaw State Park. And temperature should go below freezing Friday night, probably 6, 7, 8 o'clock. And after that, there could be a few icy patches, so be aware of that. And we're going to fine-tune this, obviously, as we get closer. Let's go to Saturday. That surface load is 988 millibars, the nor'easter. Near the mouth of Chesapeake Bay, raging snows, blizzard conditions for Washington, D.C., Baltimore, Philadelphia. For us, Saturday's going to be a cold day. We stay in the 30s all day with a chance of snow flurries during the morning. Sunday, the storm is finally out. We are sunny, and we start to warm up. We start the day well down in the 20s. The high Sunday will be around 50 degrees. Next week on Monday, clouds begin to increase. And Tuesday, a few showers are possible with a cold front coming in. Monday, we should be well up in the 50s. The high Tuesday, closer to 50. And this is Wednesday of next week. Another surface low begins to form just off the South Atlantic coast. That still would suggest maybe some lingering rain a week from today. This is the end of the forecast period, the end of the month almost, the 30th of January, which is Saturday. Troughing in the western states, kind of a zonal flow here, and that's a cool, dry air mass. Arctic Oscillation tries to go positive later this month. NAO, the North Atlantic Oscillation, tries to go positive, and accordingly, we might see a little mild spell at the end of this month in early February. As you can see, with the numbers coming off the GEFS ensemble highs, perhaps up in the low 60s by then. That'll feel pretty good. That's it for the Weather Xtreme video today. We'll have notes in the blog. Next video here by 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. If you can't catch us this evening on the live stream or the television side, ABC 3340 News at 4, 5, 6, and 10. Thanks for watching. Have a great evening, and God bless.